Hello, this is the Side Show, and today is Wednesday, July the 6th, 2022. Still talking about the mask. This happens to be a dark color, black, but still serviceable. Along with that, you might want to again check the positivity rate in your area. And if it's above 5%, definitely put the mask on your face. In this area today, it's talking about being 100, weatherman, weather lady, with heat warning, heat warning, and maybe for the next couple of days into the weekend, the same. We're just coming off the weekend, well, in the middle of the week now, and reports are still rolling in. Regards Highlands north of Chicago, Illinois. And just kind of sum things up so far, June made 6 months into 2022. But now, as far as mass shootings are concerned, and this is just a little dip into the Second Amendment thing, 313 mass shootings so far this year versus 386 million guns sold, which is a little bit more than one per person for this country, since it's listed at around 350 million. So I just wanted to put that in there before I went over some of today's news items. How can you tell, since we just came off the 4th of July, the difference between crackling explosions or singular pops? How to tell the difference between fireworks and gunshots? Well, this report was compiled by some people that were in a position to do so and have some status to their names. So, hours after a shooting spree at a Chicago area parade, anxiety and confusion gripped 4th of July celebrations nationwide Monday as some would-be celebrators confused the boom of fireworks for gunfire. So several cities reported people stampeding, trying to vacate the area when such things as juveniles threw firecrackers off in the middle of the crowd, etc., etc. Several cities experienced that. Experts say there are ways to tell whether a bang or a boom is a dangerous threat or a fireworks display. Fireworks, especially nowadays, are getting more complicated, said Good Pastor, Associate Director of Indiana University. Purdue University Indianapolis Forensic and Investigative Sciences program. They have a cracking effect and all sorts of other stuff that would make the sound of a firecracker pretty distinguishable from a firearm. You should listen for the following characteristics: crackling, a sporadic rhythm, a whistle before the pop, and a sizzle. So you might want to add that to your memory bank, since people have a tendency to set off firecrackers all during the month of July. Carlos Santana, 74, collapses on stage and receives serious medical attention. There was no diagnosis about this. It just says Tuesday at the Pine Knob Music Theater in Clarkston, Michigan, which would have been July 5th around 10 p.m. He was performing a song he wrote with country superstar Chris Stapleton when he collapsed. Medical assistance was given him on stage, and he was taken away after waving to the crowd and was since attended to at McLaren Clarkston Hospital. Back to more information about the shooting in Highlands. Parade shooting suspect brought 5 weapons despite threats. And this is kind of referencing the red flag thing, which has recently been incorporated and background checks and things of that nature. Highland Park, Illinois. A man charged Tuesday with 7 counts of murder after firing off more than 70 rounds at an Independence Day parade in suburban Chicago, legally bought 5 weapons, including the high-powered rifle used in the shooting. Despite authorities being called to his home twice in 2019 for threat of violence and suicide. The threat of violence was toward family members. 16 knives and swords were confiscated from the home. Later, he threatened suicide, and authorities were called again. At the age of 19, his father co-signed for him to get a gun or some guns. And another sad point amongst the 7 people that were killed, in the aftermath of the shooting, a 2-year-old toddler was found wandering through the crowd. Both the toddler's parents, little boy, had been killed by the shooter. So the toddler has been turned over or handed over to the grandparents for care. A GoFundMe has been established for the 2-year-old as well. Russia, Ukraine. Putin announces operational pause after seizing. Well, before I go into this, Fox is kind of under fire, Fox News Channel, from time to time for various things that they say. But they have one commentator, and I'll just give this to you kind of verbatim, that was discussing this incident that happened here at Highland Park. And he was, securing his facts like, journalists do. And he was referencing other mass shootings that have occurred all the way back almost to Columbine. And in each case, he was saying that there were some drugs being applied, to the person, either for depression or something of this nature, Prozac to whatever the case may have been. So in this case, this man at 21 was also under medications. So he put a picture of this latest guy on the screen and said, now look at him. Would you sell him a gun to somebody that looks like that? So it kind of brought up again, the background checks and, the screenings and all these other kind of things that have been discussed in this country's Senate and Congress, and offering alternative solutions to banning automatic weapons, which is what I hope would be the case at some point in time, sooner rather than later. But as it stands right now, you have these red flag situations, and you have background checks, and some people are raising the age for which a person can purchase a gun. So that coming right, the Fox commentators' comments coming right on top of this, showed that the background check had not been that thorough, because I think it was mentioned somewhere once, if not more than that, that this guy started his gun purchases, at 19, but most recently was right after the mass shooting at Uvalde Robb Elementary School. So, wave that one away. So I give that a pause with that one. And next item up was Russia, Ukraine. Putin announces operational pause after seizing Luhansk. I have trouble with these names, so bear with me. Russian President Vladimir Putin's special military operation into neighboring Ukraine began on February 24, with Russian forces invading from Belarus to the north and Russia to the east. Ukrainian troops have offered stiff resistance. That's according to U.S. officials who have been supplying, to put it mildly, billions of dollars, to start off with millions, into Ukraine, supporting them in this war. The Russian military has since launched a full-scale ground offensive in eastern Ukraine's disputed Donbas region. And that word always gives me pause. I should really find out what it means when it's applied in circumstances like this. Capturing the strategic part of Mariupol and securing a coastal corridor to the Moscow-annexed Crimean Peninsula. So Russia has done this before with Crimea and just walked in there, not literally, but invaded and took it over based on their thinking that they should have that land or territory. Woman who was inside semi-trailer where 53 migrants died says friends' advice may have saved her life. Now, I think I saw this young lady on the TV interview. She's only 20, so still young. Simple advice from a friend to stay near the door may have saved Jennifer Ulisa Cordona Tomas from the deadly fate that befell 53 other migrants when they were abandoned, trapped in a sweltering semi-trailer last week on the edge of San Antonio. Speaking by phone from her hospital bed Monday, the 20-year-old from Guatemala's capital said it was already hot on June 27th when she stepped out of the warehouse on the Texas side of the Mexico border, where she had been waiting, and climbed into the back of the trailer. So being near the door gave her some sort of air supply, whereas those people that were further in the trailer did not survive. And the number went up from 46. So the higher number reflects those that have died since they were discovered in the trailer. So today is Wednesday, and coming off the holiday weekend such as it is. I was going to pass something on to you, with the heat and everything going on, especially in the news. You might want to consider something like another addition to your diet. It has to do with the oatmeal, and I know some people are going to say, oh, oatmeal and this and that, and so forth. But with the instant varieties that are now available in oatmeal, you have a variety of flavors. If you read the directions and act accordingly, then you might get something that's kind of tasty, Add a couple of pieces of toast with that, maybe some coffee and orange juice, you got a hot breakfast. But the point that I was going to bring up is this. With the, I guess you call them steel oats, whatever brand you might choose, most popular is Quaker, I'm sure. You can make something called, for dessert, called a apple crisp. And you can substitute fruit, peach or whatever, but most common is apple crisp. It's inexpensive to make and low calorie, and it's tasty if you follow the directions, and you can look up the recipe. So another one you might want to try in the warmer weather is no-bake Jello cheesecake. I know I'm saying a brand, but that's how it's sold. No-bake cheesecake, different cherry, strawberry, different flavors, simple, to do. You don't need a lot of equipment, just follow the directions. So there's 2 summertime desserts that are inexpensive and tasty that you might want to try. Wednesday, July 6, 2022. That's it. Hashtag.